Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing something a little different. What I'm going to be showing you guys today is how I actually use Google Sheets to budget out my money. I mentioned before that I use Google Sheets to budget out my paychecks whenever I get paid, and I also do use it to keep track of the money that I have in my cash envelopes and sinking funds, and I also do use it to keep track of the money that I have in my savings. So today we're only going to focus on just how I budget out my paychecks. So I'm just going to be showing you guys first on my iPad, just like a quick review. So I'm actually going to show you guys real quick what it actually looks like on my iPad with Google Sheets. Okay, so let me just first explain what I have here. So for example, this would be all of the paychecks that I have for July. So let's say I get paid every week in July. Let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different paychecks that I'm gonna be budgeting for. So that's what you see first here. Just quickly what I have at the bottom, I just have each month. So it basically looks the exact same, but for every single month here. And then I also have this tab right here, which is the incomes and expenses. So right here is where I'll kind of put the amounts that I got paid for each month, just to keep track of everything. So I'll put the date I got paid, how much I got paid, and then the source. So for example, if you have multiple sources of income, you can write that all here. And then the way this is set up, it'll just add everything up, and then you can see how much you made that entire month right here in the totals. And then I do have this section right here where I can write down how much money I spent in expenses. I do track my, daily expenses in my planner, but by the end of the month, I calculate that all out, and then whatever number I get, that's what I'll put right here, so I can easily see for each month how much I made and then how much I spent that month. And so that's what it kind of would look like. Obviously this one is empty, but this is just kind of just show you what it looks like. And I have that for every single month. But going back to, let's see, the July tab. So, okay, we'll zoom in so you can kind of see a little bit better. Okay, sorry. So let's say that I got paid today. We would have the date right here, and then right here is where I would write down how much I got paid, and then I'll start to break everything down. So usually I start from the left side and I'll go down and then work my way over to this side. And I kind of put it in order of like what's most important, sort of kind of. So first I would put, if there's any money from that paycheck that I want to put towards any bills, I would put that over here. And then it'll total it out right here. Then next we have like tithes and offering for church. That amount I would put right here, and then it'll total it out. So same thing for savings, whatever I want to put in each of these categories, I'll write it here. It'll total it out. Same thing for Etsy. Then I move over to all my cash envelopes, and these are sinking funds as well. So put the amounts over here, it'll total up. And then I have this section here for other. So anything that's not listed here, but I want to put some money towards it, I can easily just list it over here in this other section and then add it in. And then so this grand total section right here is going to add up the total for my bills, the total for tithes and offering, the total for savings, for Etsy, and for cash envelopes, and anything I have in the other section. So it would add all of that up and put it right here. And then balance would be however much I got paid minus whatever I have here at the grand total, and then that'll leave me with my balance. So if you're doing a zero-based budget, basically your goal would be to make sure that when you're done filling everything out, that your balance would say 0, so you know every single dollar, every cent has been allocated to a certain category, or etc. Or what I do, I don't necessarily always do a zero-based budget. Sometimes I do have like $1 or $2 left here, but that's fine with me because that's just money that I'll just keep in my checkings account that can just stay there, kind of like a buffer. So that's just like a quick rundown. What I'm gonna do next is actually go over to my desktop and try to show you guys in a little bit more detail, and possibly actually do a little mini tutorial to show you guys how to actually do this. It's quite simple to do, but the only difference is I kind of changed the colors up and the fonts just to make it look a little bit more aesthetic. So if I can, I'll possibly show you guys how to do that too. So we'll do that now. Okay, so this is going to be a voiceover just for me to show you guys a tutorial of how I create this spreadsheet in Excel. So first, what I'm showing you is that you can duplicate the sheet as soon as you decide to create it. You can always just duplicate it and then change the name. So click rename. So you can use the same exact one for a new month, so you don't necessarily have to do this whole process over and over again. But since I am going to show you how to do this from scratch, I'm just going to delete this real quick and create one from scratch. So I'm just moving it over and I'm going to name it August 21. So this is going to be my spreadsheet for August 2021 for me to budget. So first things first, I'm going to merge these cells together for the date. I like to merge the cell so I can make it a little bit bigger so it can stand out more. So then I'm merging these next cells underneath. That's where I'm going to put the income amount. So that's just an example of I'm writing 200, but I'm just going to leave it at 0 for now. And then I'm clicking the money sign so that I can have the currency option shown there. And I'm just centering everything. So now I'm just going to go and start typing everything in. So I have the bills, and then I write down the amount, the next cash envelopes, and then amounts will be right next to that. Then I'm going to go ahead and start to change the color. So I'm just going to do purple for this one. Then I'm going to choose a darker purple for the line below. Then I'm going to go back to doing a light purple for the title of the cells. So now I'm just going to start typing in some of my bills here. And then I'm going to skip a few spaces just in case there's anything else I want to add. And then I'm going to write total. And I'm going to change that color. And then I also changed the color of the cell where the amount is going to go just so that it can stand out a little bit more easier for me. So next is my tithe and offering section. So I'm just titling that, filling out the information. And then total. So same thing, the cell that the amount is going to go into, I just turned that yellow. Then next is my savings. Then right next to it, I write amount. Then I'll list out my different categories that I have within my savings. Hopefully this is all making sense to you guys. If you have any questions about this or you want me to go into detail a little bit more about anything specific, just comment down below and let me know. I'm just trying my best to show you guys how I do this and explain it as best as I can. So yeah, this part right here is pretty repetitive. I'm just setting my different categories and then filling out the information underneath. And then also changing up the color. And you can obviously change the colors to whatever you want. They do have those colors that you can see that are kind of preset there, but there is an option where you can kind of click and choose your own, like create your own color. So your color options are actually endless with this. And you can also, you know, for each month, choose like a different color scheme. So let's say like I had the pink for July, and then let's say I want to do purple for August, and then for September I'll do green. So you can do that too. So yeah, now I'm just listing out all of my cash envelope categories as well as my sinking funds. I just put that all underneath the cash envelope category. So yeah, when you do this for the first time, it does take some time because you know you have to write everything out. But once you're completed with the spreadsheet, like I kind of showed you in the beginning, you can duplicate it and then just change the name of the month and then, you know, erase all the numbers or the amounts that you have in there and then just use it over again. But I do end up copying this again, so I'll do like another one that looks just like this right next to it. So let's say I'll go over to like the H cell over on the right side and then create something that looks exactly the same on that side, and then I'll do that for like my next paycheck, and then I'll create however many paychecks I have that month. That's how many of these budget breakdowns that I'll have within this August spreadsheet. All right, so now we're down to where I'm writing down my grand total. But as you can see, I want everything to end on the same line. And yeah, you can see now I noticed that it wasn't adding up. So you'll see in a little bit that I actually go back and fix it. So yeah, I'm just, you know, adding a row below it and then deleting some stuff and moving some stuff up so that everything will all end on line 33. So yeah, now you can see here, this is how I wanted it to end up. So everything was nice and even. So that everything was nice and even, ending on the same line. So now what you're seeing me do now is I'm adding zeros next to each name. So I do that first, and then what I do is hit the money sign, just so that when I go ahead to start filling out these numbers, I already have like the currency sign there, and I don't have to, like, let's say I want to put like $10 somewhere, I don't have to always put like money sign 10.00. When I do this way, I can just easily just go in the cell and just put 10, and then it'll fix it all up for me. Now, okay, I'm doing the same thing for the total cells. Now I'm just going to change up how the date looks a little bit. So I'm changing the font. And then I'm making it bold. Well, first I'm going to change the size. And I make it bold. Then I'm just going to make it in all caps and space it out a little bit just so it looks a little nicer to me. All right, and then I'm going to make that section right there bold so it stands out. And then I believe that's what I'm going to do for the yellow cells as well, is make it bold. Yeah. So now we're going to go into how I put in the functions. So you're going to go over to insert, then go down to function, and then hit sum. Then you're going to select the cells you want to add up. So I'm going to select B5. Then I'm going to hold shift and hit B13 and click enter. And then I'm going to do that for all of these. So this is basically an easy way for the spreadsheet to sum everything up for me within the different blocks that I have. So same thing, I'll click on the yellow cell, insert, function, hit sum. Then I'll click on the cells that I want to add up and hit enter. So once again, hit the yellow cell, I'm going to hit function, sum. I'm going to click the first one, hold shift, and then click the last one, and then enter. Now for the grand total, I'm going to hit the cell. I'm going to hit insert, function, and then sum, but I'm going to hit only the total cells. And I'm holding command as I do this. So that way it knows that in that cell, I'm going to be adding up all of the total amounts that I have. And then for balance, I'm going to hold the cell, click insert, go down to function, and you can either write out minus or you can click min, because they don't have minus right there. So I just click min, and then I'm going to subtract the amount up here, which is the amount that I'll put that I get paid. And I'm going to minus that from the grand total. So I'm going to hold command and then hit that cell and click enter. Well, first I'm going to add a US just so it says minus, so it knows it's going to give me the difference of those two numbers. So yeah, that's that part. So it's pretty much all set up. All the functions are complete. And now I'm just going to kind of show you an example of how I would budget it out. So let's say, for example, I made $200. So that's there. And you can see the balance right now is 200. But as I start to add amounts to the different cells up here, like within bills or tithes and offerings, savings, etc., you'll see the balance number start to change, and also the grand total is going to start to change because it's adding everything up, but then also minusing the amounts that I'm putting from the overall amount of how much money I got paid. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys. I'm trying my best to explain this. So yeah, this is me just showing you how you can easily just like write in numbers. Like just put 25 and then it'll already put the money sign there. And I just like the way it looks with the money sign in the cents. So yeah, as you can see, as I'm adding in numbers, you see the balance is getting lower and lower. So if you, like I was saying before, if you have a zero-based budget, you kind of want to play around with these numbers until the balance gets down to 0. So for example, that's what it will look like. And then let's say I wanted to only put $10 in laundry and then put 10 in Lola. I can easily just do that and it'll just calculate itself out. But then it'll also show you, like, let's say I'm just doing whatever, adding a whole bunch of money, but then I can see, I'm in the negative. I have negative 10 as balance. So I know, okay, I'm going to have to take $10 out of somewhere. So you can easily just do that and then get yourself back down to 0. So that's always the goal, to either have a little bit of money left or completely have 0, but no negatives. So yeah, that's basically how I do that. And like I said, I would just copy and paste that and redo it all over again for the next paycheck. And then here I'm just showing you how I set up my income and expenses spreadsheet. So I'm just going to show you quickly like how I would do August. So I'm just merging the cells. Then I'm going to type in August. And I'm going to change the color. Make it bold. Change the font. Then I'm just going to check and see what size I had the font already. All right. Then I'm going to center it. And then I'm going to click the button right next to it to make sure that it's also centered vertically within the cell. So now I'm just typing in date, income, and source. Then I'm going to change the color. So underneath there where it said custom, there's like that little plus sign. You can click that plus sign and then choose whatever color you want. So yeah, now we have total, expenses. Change the color. I'm just gonna click the currency button. Then I'm gonna click the currency button as well for the cells underneath where it says income. So yeah, here's an example. Let's say I made $200 on Poshmark. Oh, so now I'm going to actually go ahead and put in the function. So same thing, insert, function, sum. I'm going to click the cells while holding shift. And then there you go. So that's how I do that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the love and support and the subscribers. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace.